Welcome back to Velshi and Rule. Let this sink in for a moment. 2 mass shootings over the weekend, 13 hours apart, 31 people in total killed. 22 of them killed by a young man armed with an assault-style rifle who terrorized a Walmart in El Paso, Texas. And in Dayton, Ohio, 9 people killed by a young man armed with a .223 caliber assault rifle with just 32 seconds between the first shot and the last shot.
That, to me, is the most stunning. 30 seconds. Take away the talking points, the analysis, the politics. What you are left with are human beings. And we want to take a moment to give you a glimpse of what these massacres did to the actual people involved. Victims, survivors, family and friends, communities who will never be the same.
I look down the sidewalk and just see a row of just a row of bodies. There's people shot, some alive, some not.
I sympathize with those mothers that lost their babies, those fathers. It should have never happened like this.
You're paranoid, you're fearful to even go out. Like, is the next place I'm gonna go, is it gonna get shot up? Am I gonna get shot? Am I gonna get killed? What's gonna happen?
I text them, I'm like, we're at the Unification Center. We're praying to God that you're on the buses and that you'll be here. But they didn't come.
I'm asking for counseling for all the girls because they saw things that children their ages, no children in any world should see things like that.
What I was supposed to do, I understand it was heroic, and I'm looked at as a hero for it, but that wasn't the reason for me. I'm just focused on the kids that I could not get and the families that were lost because it hurts me like I lost, like they were part of me.
While President Trump had tough words for hate and white supremacy this morning, he's repeatedly stoked fear of immigrants from the day he announced his candidacy to the rallying cry in Cincinnati last Thursday.
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
Democrats want to invite caravan after caravan of illegal aliens to pour into our country. I don't think so. That's an invasion. I don't care what they say. I don't care what the fake media says. That's an invasion of our country.
I consider it to be an invasion.
As you know, Mr. President, the caravan was not an invasion.
Because I consider it an invasion. You and I have a difference of opinion. But the border city of El Paso, Texas, used to have extremely high rates of violent crime. Now, immediately upon its building, with a powerful barrier in place, El Paso is one of the safest cities. National emergency it is. And if you look at the border and you look at the hundreds of thousands of people that are invading, or at least trying to invade our country, you would know that we need it. This is an invasion. When you see these caravans starting out with 20,000 people, that's an invasion. I was badly criticized for using the word invasion. It's an invasion. But how do you stop these people? You can't. There's no... That's only in the Panhandle you can get away with that statement. Only in the Panhandle. So it's a tough situation, but if they change the loopholes, we'll have it perfectly. And when the wall is finished, it's going to be great. The country puts the name in the basket, and you pick people out of the lottery. Well, let's see. This one's a murderer. This one robbed 4 banks. This one, I better not say. It's kidding. This one, another murderer. Ladies and gentlemen, another murderer.
If you didn't hear it earlier, when the president was talking about the invaders and said, what do we do?
Someone said,
shoot them. And that's when he said, you can only say that
and that's
in the Panhandle.
Jonathan Greenblatt was making the point that when somebody says something like that, and President Trump has had numerous opportunities where somebody has said something distasteful or hateful in his audience, and unlike John McCain, who we point out, he doesn't take that moment to stop it, to correct it, to shut it down. He lets it go and he smirks. and that's the effect you have.
Joining us now, Domingo Garcia, National President of the League of United Latin American Citizens. Domingo, we don't need to tell you the words of the president have vilified immigrants, specifically Latinos. We also know that the shooter in the case of El Paso posted a racist, anti-immigrant screed. Do you believe the president's rhetoric is part of the problem here?
The President Trump has opened up a Pandora's box of hate and inflammatory racial hatred that we haven't seen since the times of the KKK and the Know Nothing Party. He is a major contributing factor to the motivation of individuals like the one who went to El Paso, Texas, like the Gilroy shooting that just happened 3 weeks ago, where Mexican Americans were also targeted. He has to stop that type of rhetoric. He is inflaming the racial tensions in this country, and he's using it for partisan political purposes, and it's not presidential, it's not Christian, it's not American.
So here's an interesting thing. You say for partisan purposes, and he does associate cities with lots of Hispanic, Latino people as being liberal cities, but the fact is there is a very large population in the Hispanic community that is conservative. How do they respond to this?
Well, look, LULAC is basically a nonpartisan centrist group. We have Democrats, we have Republicans, we have NRA members, people who are for gun control. But when you start targeting a group, scapegoating us, and using Latinos as political piñatas, then you've kind of crossed the line that has pushed the American atmosphere into a toxic environment where you have men like the shooter in El Paso. And I was in El Paso yesterday. I had to talk to a father whose daughter was shot 3 times and is on critical condition after 2 surgeries. I had to talk to a wife whose husband, who was a soccer coach, was shot and also is struggling for his life. There's some real consequences to the rhetoric coming from President Trump.
But what do conservative Latinos say about the president's rhetoric? Do they see it as a problem?
Yes, it is. Of course it is. Everybody, every American with a conscience knows that this is a problem and that you need to correct it. And if President Trump doesn't do that, I believe that there will be a surge of Latino turnout in November of 2020, and there will be a backlash to what we're seeing. The El Paso incident, the Gilroy incident, is creating a wave of consciousness among all Americans that this is just wrong. It's just dividing Americans, pitting one group against another group, and it's being done just so somebody can win a presidential election. It is wrong on so many levels, but especially on a moral level.
Hey, MSNBC fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there and click on any of the videos here to watch the latest interviews and highlights. You can get more MSNBC for free every day with our newsletters. Just visit msnbc.com/newsletters to sign up now.